Suddenly, there's a break in the case. 1 year after my mom's disappearance, somebody purchased a house at the top of the mountain above the road where my mom was walking when I last spoke with her. It was in between my grandmother's house and John Doe's boat. The new homeowner took his dog out for a walk in his backyard. Deep in the woods, the dog took off running and brought him back an article of clothing, then leads him to an area where there were clothes neatly folded and hidden in the bushes. Inside the pocket, he finds an ID belonging to my mom. The police claimed they searched the area, but it was very high up on the mountain in extremely dangerous terrain, so they had to call in search dogs, then go back up the mountain later when they had a team. Mind you, this was in December, and although I wanted to go up there to help, it was not safe because I was very pregnant with my rainbow baby, and I could not be hiking up a mountain to help search in my condition, so I left it up to them. This was the first time we ever had hope with my mom's case, but I was waiting for the phone call thinking, I don't know what's worse, that they find my mom and she's no longer with us, or they don't find anything at all, and we still have no answers. But my grandmother never gave up. She was so hopeful that we would find her daughter. However, my grandma would never find out what happens to her because she passed away before hearing back from them. Unfortunately, they didn't find anything either. So they decided to start walking across the mountain instead of up. And eventually they come to a makeshift grave where there was a cross sticking out of the ground with a beaded earring hanging on it and tarps in the background. The police asked me if the earring belonged to me or my mom, and I said no because I wasn't certain if it belonged to her or not. It could have, but I wasn't sure. I couldn't prove it was hers, and I didn't want to lie. So they refused to dig up the grave to see if there was anything in it. The police sent me photos of the grave with the search dog sitting in front of it, but they refused to dig up whatever's down there because they claim that the dog did not signal them to the site. They say that they told the dog to sit there, which is BS, because if you know anything about cadaver dogs, they will only alert you if they find something. And initially, when they emailed me, they said the dog alerted them to the area, but then later changed their minds and said, oh, actually, he didn't alert them. So when I got upset about them refusing to look in the grave, I asked for the coordinates and said I would send my own search team to look, but they won't tell me the location of where it's at. And I think that's unfair because there's no way for me to know for sure if there is or isn't a body in that gravesite. But they said that was the end of it. They told me she likely just climbed up the mountain and got lost or went there to intentionally remove herself from the living, which I know is not true, by the way, but they didn't seem to believe me, and since then they have not looked any further on the mountain.